accuracy matters. And they recommend it because it's number one in accuracy.
Does learning a language feel like this?
No habla español?
Hablo.
It's hablo?
Yes.
It's hablo.
Bon dia, like good day, good morning, I think.
I can say, je m'appelle David, but that's probably it.
When you learn a language, you want to actually use it. Babbel is designed with that goal in mind.
This year is my year to get fluent in Spanish, and Babbel is definitely going to help me do that. The app is so easy to use, and it's so practical. It helps you learn things that you will actually need.
Since my husband is from Guatemala, I'll apply what I've learned in Babbel to our real-life situations.
I've tried other language learning apps, and nothing really stuck. Babbel's been a complete game changer for me.
Hoy es miércoles y el clima está muy bueno afuera.
Estou com fome. Eu não tomei café de manhã.
Je suis des États-Unis et du Viens-tu.
Babbel, language for life, celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at babbel.com. Just go to babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's babbel.com. B-A-B-B.
Hi, this is Steve Greenfield with a Real Country News Update. House Impeachment Manager David Cicilline says on January 6, Trump never condemned the attack on the Capitol nor the attackers.
The facts are that on January 6th, Donald Trump did not once condemn this attack. He did not once condemn the attackers. In fact, on January 6th, the only person he condemned was his own vice president.
Also making headlines, two men from Greene
WQQ Kingston. On your radio at 920 AM and 92.5 FM. And also online at mykcr.org.
We are Lions. We bring hope where it's needed. Support causes that matter. Change lives. Change communities. Change the world. Visit lionsclubs.org to learn more.
At St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, we're fighting against childhood cancer every day. At the heart of this battle are our donors.
Most of us want to make some type of difference in the lives of others. St. Jude does miraculous work.
The fact that no one has to pay, it's a place where everyone is treated as an equal.
Everybody is welcome here. And it doesn't matter your religion or what part of the world you're from, all that is taken away. It just gives you some hope.
It's just a nice feeling to put your energy into something that really does genuinely make a difference in a child's life.
There's just no greater gift. If we have the ability to help, then we have a responsibility to help.
Finding cures, saving children. St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Find out how you can help at stjude.org.
Introducing the YMCA. Sure, you know the Y for a swim or a game of hoops, but we're more than that. We're a cause. When you take a jump shot at the Y, someone else is getting job training. Practice yoga as a team practices her leadership skills. We give people of all ages, incomes, and backgrounds a chance to learn, grow, and thrive. So while you might think of the Y as the place for lifting weights, we're also about lifting entire communities. That's the why. We're so much more. Visit ymca.net/more.
Hi, this is Winnie from the Rosendale Seniors, and I support Kingston Community Radio, and so should you.
This portion of Kingston Community Radio is brought to you by Ulster Savings Bank. Visit their newest branch, conveniently located at the Ulster Commons Plaza in Lake Katrine. Experience the difference that local community banking offers with the convenience of another great location, easy access, plenty of parking, and a 24-hour ATM. Ulster Savings Bank, invested in community, invested in you. Member FDIC.
All right, folk, this is Thunder Thursday. Flash.
Ba-ba-ba-boom.
Good job.
Good morning.
Good morning. This is Tony Marmo.
Val Dwyer.
And we're here again for another edition of Thunder Thursday, this version. But now you're here two Thursdays now, right?
I got promoted.
You got promoted.
The pay was so good
that
I couldn't turn it down. I couldn't turn it down.
Yeah. So well, I mean, it's there's a lot going on.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on.
To talk
so
about.
A lot to talk about, and in our fair city, with the snow all over the place. So I know we have a couple things to touch on, but before we do that, I want to mention, on top of the snow that's been relentless, although I'm going to Bel Air tomorrow.
Good for you.
Yeah, can't wait.
You were talking about that the last time we were together.
Yeah, can't wait. Can't wait to get out there. It's like what we call champagne powder, Lawrence. It's like Colorado snow.
Me and Cam went last Friday.
Oh, yeah, that's great.
Just to give you a quick heads up, they do not groom on Thursday night.
Yeah, that's all right.
So you might want to ski the Tomahawk lift.
Okay, yeah.
Because no one seems to ride over there.
Was it busy?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was really busy.
That's great.
Like, I usually don't like to stand on line at Bel Air because it's like 2 turns and I'm down the hill.
Right.
But I'm going to Killington for a week.
Nice.
The beginning of March with my friends. So I needed to get some skiing under my legs, man, before I go to Killington.
You have relatively new skis too, right?
I just got new skis last year, yeah.
Right. So I have new skis like Tuesday.
Yeah, oh, you're gonna love. Have you been skiing on the old ones? You haven't skied on the new ones yet?
Well, no. My old ones are probably 10 years old.
Oh, okay.
So they're not like they're 20 years old.
Because the new design, man, it makes you feel like you're 15 years old again.
No, I know that.
Now, how often will you ski? Do you go often, or?
I used to go a lot, like 40, 50 times a year.
Oh, wow.
But now I'm like 2 or 3.
Yeah,
it's bad. I mean,
that would cost you like $4,000 now.
No,
how much
I know
is your
that.
ticket for Friday? 57?
No, believe it or not, when I first looked at it, it was 50, and then we have a whole bunch of snow. They jacked it up to 70.
Really?
I'm not kidding
Are you serious?
I am serious. I paid $70.
So just to give you a quick heads up and not to
57.
interrupt your
go ahead.
awesome conversation. Nothing is
getting
open
started.
downstairs except nothing's open downstairs except for the bathroom. There's no cafeteria anymore. It's
Wow.
right now during the cocoa or whatever.
Right.
It's closed.
Right.
So the only thing you go downstairs for is to go to the bathroom.
So where
for
do
the
you eat
bar,
lunch?
you got to wait online to go inside.
Oh, no kidding.
So I'm going to give you the heads up. After you're done with your day
Right.
and you want to go sit out in the Adirondack chairs in the sun, go inside. You get the beer inside.
Right.
They give it to you in like a
little container.
kind of like like one you would get at the Giant game.
Right.
You go out, you sit with your friends on the bench, and then you don't have to deal with anybody. You can take your mask off because when you ski up to the line, you're gonna have to put your mask back on.
Oh, no
So
kidding.
what I did was I just
Oh, yeah, like
because
a
I don't ski
gator on
with
or
anything
something.
on my head or anything. Yeah, I just pulled a necky up over my
Yeah,
nose.
yeah.
Get on the lift, you take it back.
Yeah.
It's one more thing to carry in addition to the poles, right?
Right.
Yeah, exactly. No, we're probably doing probably half a day. Well, I'm gonna get out there by 8:30 and ski until maybe noon, 12:30, and then grab some lunch in Phoenicia. That's kind of the game plan.
We went to Brio's.
That's where I'm going.
Yeah,
That's
the
where we're
pizza's
going.
awesome.
Yeah.
It's great.
So, no, what I wanted to say was there is so much Zoom fatigue. There is so much COVID fatigue. There is so much just, now the snow on top of the Zoom fatigue and the COVID fatigue and people looking for vaccinations. I mean, that's starting to get crazy.
Yeah. I saw today, or I think it's this week, there's now 30,000 people in the county that are eligible,
Right.
but I think they only shipped like 1,000 vaccinations. So,
Yeah,
I mean, it's a
ridiculous.
tedious process, but
So now it's, fairly open, so anybody down to age 65 or up to age 65, down to age 65, so 65 or older.
Right.
And then health conditions, comorbidities and a ton of that stuff, which I think, to me, is the most important group, I guess. I mean, the seniors and then, which I don't consider myself one of those. But
you're not. You're not.
But, I think they should have left it at 75, and then if they wanted folks with cancer and diabetes and some of these, other diseases, I get that. But it's too many people, too few vaccines.
Yeah,
all over.
yeah.
It's creating problems.
I feel like if you're someone who has, like I have a close friend who's battling cancer right now. She's young and she has 3 small kids. So, someone like that, I'm glad that at least the end is in sight because I feel like there has to be so much anxiety. I haven't really experienced because I'm healthy and I don't worry about it as much. But for those that are compromised, if you will, I'm glad that
absolutely.
there's a little bit of relief coming their way. So
I mean, I am healthy too, and I'm in pretty good shape for an older guy, and so I wasn't really overly concerned about it. The only reason why I wanted to get the vaccine is to make other people feel comfortable. You know what I mean? So from that standpoint, but I'll keep trying. I actually passed up an opportunity to go to Westchester to get a vaccine.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Tuesday, because I had a big, important Rotary meeting. Oh my God. Somebody said, "Are you crazy?" I said, "Yes." But, we'll see. I'm online. But, and older folks, not all of them, certainly, well, let's say it the other way. There's a percentage of older folks that are savvy on the computer, and this is all
I know.
online, and it's like you got to check this app, that app, look at your emails, check Walgreens, check this, check that. And some of the older folks are saying, no, I don't know how to, I don't want to.
I know.
And so it's a bit of a problem, and I hope they just increase the production. I don't know. I thought they were going to do that.
I know. I think there's so many variables that go into it, like with the temperature, and it's just it really is a fascinating process. But but I was happy to see yesterday that the governor is going to allow some of the stadiums 10% capacity, which
I think it's a step in the right direction.
It's a step in the right direction. It'll be interesting to see. I don't know how these people are staying afloat, how these big stadiums are. I don't know how you operate on that, but it is a step in the right direction.
No, it's complicated stuff for sure, and some of those are like on municipally owned land, like I think Yankee Stadium, Not sure, I don't think the Yankees own Yankee Stadium. I think the city owns Yankee Stadium.
Yeah, I'm not sure how that works.
Yeah, and same thing with Citi Field. I think I'm not sure. There's a lot of deals that get made with that stuff, but I think it's good for people to kind of get back to somewhat normalcy, and maybe 10% becomes 25%.
Yeah, I hope so.
50%,
Yeah.
You know.
And I also saw Executive Ryan is asking for the restaurants to be able to stay open 2 hours later. So that's also,
yeah.
I don't understand.
I get it.
It's like the COVID fairy comes out.
I know. It's just ridiculous. So, I mean, it's just kind of, I don't know, somebody arbitrarily picked 10.
Yeah.
You know, could be 9, could be 11. Let's say 10. All right, get 10.
Yeah.
So, anyway, so that's that. But let's talk about some more shootings in Kingston.
Yeah.
This week, unfortunately.
We had three shootings last week.
Yeah.
So, very, very disturbing.
Is that the headline in the Freeman? Greatly disturbing? Is that?
Oh no, I think that's national news.
Oh, okay, forget
that. Yeah, that's national news. We're not gonna be able to fix that.
No.
So yeah.
Same general area of Kingston, or this scattered places?
One of them was over at the what is the complex over by St. Mary Cemetery? Is that Colonial Gardens?
Yeah, I think
one was Colonial Gardens. There was someone who showed up at the hospital with a gunshot wound to the leg and would not disclose any information. Not sure if that has, changed at all. And then the other one, which was very concerning, was the area of Franklin and Clinton. And there were 2 vehicles, one following the other, I believe is how the story goes, and shooting at each other at 9 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, my gosh.
So, yeah, you've got.
And they never caught those people. They have
not caught those people.
But they know somebody ID'd the cars, I think, right?
Yeah, there was an identification, and I don't understand how with Ring cameras and
a lot of passive surveillance going on.
And and I keep meaning to ask. I actually did have a. Talking about Zoom, I did have an opportunity to have a Zoom meeting with 3 aldermen this week and to talk about some of the issues, which was really good. But, one of the things I've been meaning to ask is, where are we with the cameras? I know that there's been a lot of pushback that they're broken, but I haven't really heard anything about what the plan is to fix them.
Wherever they are.
I don't know where they're planted. It's probably a good idea that we don't know, but I know that they were in some of the areas that were more problematic.
Yeah.
But, it just comes down to, again, I know we talked about this, the mayor saying that, crime is going to happen and he's trying, he's citing statistics that crime has gone down and we actually have less crime, and it's just,
That kind of violent crime, though? I mean, maybe overall crime's down.
But it's just, I'm not trying to get political. This isn't really about, this is humanity. And where's the compassion for, for the people that are living in this environment?
Yeah.
So, and where's the end game? What is it going to take to say crime is always going to happen, but this is enough? What is that? Are we going to lose another child, or... 3 shootings in 1 week, and in cold weather, which we all know that once the warm weather hits, it's going to go well.
I guess we were talking about, what's changed in the city over the last few years. Certainly maybe there's more drug influence now than there used to be. I mean, once upon a time there was a lot, and then that got cleaned up post haste. I mean, there was a call to action, like, this is what we got to do.
Yeah.
Boom.
There is no call to action.
Yeah, there's
and
no
that's
call
the
to
problem.
action. Yeah.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
There's no, like you said, like the drug problem.
Right.
And again, I always say, we have people, and, on our last show, we talked about addiction, but we have people in the city, it's not really being publicized, but I hear about it, dying. Every week we're losing young people to overdoses.
Yeah.
And so it's the source of that, but it's also the source of the violence. This all leads back to drugs and gangs.
Yeah.
And, I think that the police department's always done, Kingston Police Department is very well capable of handling this. They've handled it for years.
Exactly. That's
but right now there's there's no, where are the drug busts? Where are the You know, it's you know, I had said to KP, I had 3 citizens tell me the same story of there's open air drug deals going on at this location outside on this corner. And I contacted the police and they said, we know.
Yeah.
I mean,
the we know
so
part is disturbing.
it's disturbing. There's no, and it's to no fault of the officers.
Right. No, I get it. So I think we have to keep talking about it, keep bringing it up
Yeah,
as a concern, you know, Kingston Group is doing, and it's important that it stay front and center until it gets addressed.
It is.
You know, that we don't just say, okay, well, this is just what it is, and
It's
blah, blah,
normal.
blah.
It's,
This
yeah.
is any other city in the Hudson Valley. You know, Newburgh certainly had their share. Poughkeepsie's had their share. We have kind of escaped that, seemingly, for a while, and now we're kind of in the mix with them. And you know, so I think if everyone is on it, let's say, and looking to hold our elected officials accountable, and that's really, you know, at the end of the day, it's what it is hold our leadership. I don't care what level of government you're in, or quite honestly, even if you're in business, you should be accountable, you know, for what you're doing and your actions and the success of your business or the success of the government, right? I mean, that's a CEO type job,
Right.
and that's what we're talking about.
Right.
So, a lot more to come on this, but
I will say, I think the community is really doing a good job of standing up and organizing. And, you know, we have my group, but then there's also other groups around the city that have also come together and doing different things. And one of the things, like I said, this week I had a Zoom call with a couple of the aldermen and a couple of other concerned residents. And, you know, we were talking about the upcoming, tonight, the Kingston Police Task Force is presenting the report. There's a public hearing for that. And so we were kind of talking about that. But just throwing around ideas of what we can do. And, you know, one of the ideas was to have businesses come forward and donate Ring cameras for homeowners that live in some of these trouble areas that may not be able to afford a Ring camera.
What are they, like a couple $100?
You know, I have Arlo, and I know, so the ones I have, it came in a pack of 4, and I want to say it was like $700 for 4. But the conversation was, I guess there's a way that you can get a discounted Arlo or Ring, or so, you know, if we could have something like that where people, you know, I certainly as a business owner would be willing to contribute to that fund, to, you know, anything that we can do to work together to, you know, to fight the violence, because we're just not getting the leadership. The community's got to step in, and it makes it harder when you don't have that support from the leadership. But we can't sit idle here and do nothing.
Correct.
So that's one of the ideas, which was great.
What's going on with the school resource officer? Is that kind of...
So that's that has resurfaced. I know that's going to be that's going to be a hot topic because you know, there was some language in the report for the police task force that was a little misleading as to what the program really is about. So I'm hoping to see that get kind of corrected with some facts.
What do you think the program's about? I mean, I remember when they were created. It actually started with the DARE. I think we might have mentioned that when Brandon. By the way, Brandon did such a great job.
Oh, my brother.
Your brother, Brandon. And so I shared that video link with a few of my Rotary friends.
That video got like 900 hits.
I know. It was amazing. It was an all-time record.
And I have to say, and I don't know if you heard him at the end say, because, I mean, there was so much information and it was such a short period of time. But he had lost his best friend from high school to an overdose last March. And I was with him last weekend and we were talking, and he was telling me that people have come out of the woodwork to reach out to him.
That's great.
And a lot of people were people that he went to high school with that haven't dealt with the loss of their friend because it had happened during COVID.
Right.
And so it was the beginning of COVID. So people weren't allowed in the funeral homes.
Yeah.
And so, you know, he said that it's really, you know, he has some friends that they're going to get together, come in and from out of town and, try to get together and memorialize their friend and kind of grieve for him. And so, but, and just other people calling to say they're proud of him. And so that was, I think, really good for the community, but also really good for him too.
That was
a lot of good feedback.
Amazing. It was great. So back to drug awareness, and I can't remember what the heck the R was. Enforcement, drug awareness, the DARE initiative. I don't know.
I don't.
But yeah, I mean that was because I remember our Rotary Club helped fund the position down in the Highland schools.
Mm-hmm.
We made a contribution to that, and it was well received. But then it fell out of favor, and then the school resource officer seemed to fall in right behind it. With maybe less emphasis on the drug awareness.
Yeah, and that's something. Kind of going back to my brother, working with Ryan, raising your awareness about narcotics. That's kind of been one of our initiatives.
Resistance is the R.
Okay.
Drug awareness and resistance education.
Okay. Through the Ryan group is trying to get in front of, see if we can get into the health classes and tell some of these stories, because I agree the resource officers are there, but I don't know really how much. I don't think there's enough. There's never enough drug awareness. In school, and especially these days with the vaping, it's so hard to miss the signs, because you could be in the high school bathroom vaping marijuana. There's no smell.
Yeah.
There's no and
there's no smell to that. That part
no, and that's what makes it so, and it's so potent, and so I think that. I don't know. It's just a different world too than when I was, a kid, and there's, now it's not just the, curiosity of drinking beer and whatever.
Maybe
so
marijuana or something.
But no, so going back to the SRO program, you were asking. So there's one at the middle school, one officer at the middle school, each middle school, and then two at the high school, and. I think there's one of the issues is there's this misconception that they are acting as school disciplinarians. And, I've seen their contract. It is against that. And if you speak to administration, they will say absolutely not. They are not disciplining the kids. So that's one misconception just by a couple of people. And if you have kids in the school, that's not happening.
Right.
This is from other people that don't really have that one-on-one experience. But I'll tell you this, obviously there's the part of the safety, and especially living in a community where drugs and gangs are prevalent, unfortunately. And it's not really just so much the person with a mental health issue that might come in, but it is a reality that there could be kids in that school that are part of a gang or, so there's that aspect, but there's also the role model aspect, and there's also the relationships. And for a lot of kids, this is their first introduction to law enforcement, and it's in a positive environment. And I think that's really important. So, I will say my daughter plays on the high school basketball team, and last year when we were, playing, I would see the SRO would be there, and I would see the kids. There's always the kids you can tell that are at the game because they're avoiding going home. They're you can just tell who those kids are. Sure. And they're the ones that are walking up and giving the high five to the SRO officers, interacting. And so they really are. There is
support system.
Support. It is. Just, and graduation, they have a video last year of all the kids coming in, high fiving the SRO. It really is a beautiful relationship.
Absolutely.
So
hopefully it'll remain, I don't see the downside of it, quite honestly, but I guess some people in certain groups do. We have a great show today. John Masurgeon from Central Hudson is going to be on. I don't think you've had a chance to speak to John yet.
Yeah.
He's electrifying. Stop it. And then at 8 o'clock, we have Kingston Happenings, and we're curious. It's Veronica Fassbender and Kevin Godby, and we're curious to see what, if anything, is happening in Kingston.
I'm excited for that one.
Yeah. So they'll tell us. Folks are still not going out, I don't think. We were out a couple times.
I don't know. Bel Air was packed last week. I had to stand on line.
I think people are really itching.
Itchy.
And I think by the time summer comes, like
it's going to be busting out.
Yeah.
And most of the skiing crowd is like people our age. There's not a lot of young people there. I mean, there are for people that like.
Well, you went
for
midweek.
Your kids. You taught your kids how to ski. I'm sure Val taught her kids how to ski.
Right.
Midweek. But people don't. It's an expensive sport, just like people aren't playing golf anymore.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
No, people don't join service clubs anymore.
Right, exactly.
Millennials don't like that.
Yeah, no, I know. Midweek you went, or you went?
I went Friday right after the show.
Okay.
Drove up there. I could only handle about 3 or 4 hours of skiing now.
Right.
My knees start to hurt. My back hurts.
Was it cold that day? Because we had some cold
It was
weather.
like 31, a little bit of sun. It was it was snowing when we left, but it was supposed to rain in Kingston that day. It didn't. But we had all that snow on Monday. It actually was really nice. It was really good conditions. For Bel Air. Usually you go there and you're skiing on groomed ice.
Yeah, but this last snowfall, I mean, I took my shovel and pushed it the length of my pickup truck, and it was just powder.
Yeah.
It was just powder.
It's perfect for skiing.
Oh, man, it was like,
and for them to re-groom it, too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
no, it's good. So Kevin Godby and Veronica Fassbender, they'll be on, and then at 8:30 we have Jumpin' Joe Bikert.
Joe Biker.
Yeah.
Very good friend of mine. I'm very excited to have Joe in the studio.
Yep, he's a great guy and a great family. The Bikerts were, amazing family over the years.
Yep.
And
Givers.
yeah, unbelievable. And I can remember when they had their original shop across from the Benedictine Hospital on Mary's Avenue, and I'll never forget this. We bought some tickets for, I don't know if it was the hospital event, a Rotary event. I can't remember what the heck I was doing, but they had a garage next to the house, and that's where not Ozzy, Ozzy's dad was in the printing business.
Knew. Yeah, I knew.
And that place smelled, if you walked in there, it smelled like just pure ink. I mean, it was like, it hit me like a ton of bricks. I mean, it was kind of cool, but I was like, okay, if I'd have worked in this all day long. But no, they are amazing family over the years, have supported, so many not-for-profits and on so many boards. And I was on board, chamber board with Ozzy, and
Joe was on the chamber board.
Yeah.
Yep.
So they're a great family.
Big with the hospital, and I think one of my favorite, and this just kind of goes to show you what kind of a family the Bikert family is. But Joe's grandmother swam across, and we're going to ask him this in his Flo.
Yeah.
Swam across the Hudson River. I want to ask Joe when he gets on.
Seriously?
No, it's
80. I think she was like.
Yeah.
80?
But it moves at 3.2 knots.
I could not have done that in my best days.
Like neutral current.
Yeah, there's slack tide, it's called.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And I think it was.
I'll tell you why. It was for the Benedictine.
For the Benedictine
Foundation.
Yes.
She took a long shower.
We gotta get the details on that. I think it was
cancer support program. I can't remember who it's in honor of. I should know this. Maybe Michael Finnegan, but maybe not. I can't remember. No, that couldn't have been Michael Finnegan, but it was somebody else. And, but we'll find out.
Yeah, we're going to find that. We're going to get the scoop on that.
Yep, we're going to take a break. Coming back with John Masurgeon from Central Hudson. This is Tony Marmo.
Val Dwyer. Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday.
You're listening to Kingston Community Radio on WGHQ Kingston. On your radio at 920 AM and 92.5 FM, and also online at mykcr.org.
Long ago, you wouldn't think of galloping on a horse while doing calligraphy, and you wouldn't have attempted to ride your bike while typing a letter. Yet you think you can safely operate a multi-ton vehicle while texting? Behind the wheel is no place to multitask. If you want to BRB, drive now and text later. Lives depend on it.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org, a message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, Noise, and the Ad Council.
100 years ago, there were 100,000 tigers in the wild. Today, there are as few as 3,200. The Earth's wild animals can't speak up when they need help, but we can. Be the voice for those who have no voice. Visit worldwildlife.org.
Question: what will you find on all over-the-counter or OTC medicine packages to help you choose the right drug and use it safely? The answer: the drug facts label. This label lists the medicine's active ingredients and purpose, how much to take, and warnings you should know before using it. Remember, even OTC medicines you buy without a prescription can cause side effects you don't want. So follow the information listed on the drug facts label. For more information, visit fda.gov/drug facts label. A message from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration.
Hi, I'm Steve Thomas for Habitat for Humanity Restore. Habitat Restores are nonprofit home improvement stores and donation centers that sell new and gently used furniture, building materials, and appliances to the public at a fraction of the retail cost. The Ulster County Restore at 406 Route 28 in Kingston needs your donations. Call our hotline at 845-853-7499 to schedule your free pickup. And thanks.
Hi, I'm Ruth Quick from Town of Ulster. I support Kingston Community Radio, and you should too.
This portion of Kingston Community Radio is brought to you by Ulster Savings Bank. Visit their newest branch, conveniently located at the Ulster Commons Plaza in Lake Katrine. Experience the difference that local community banking offers with the convenience of another great location, easy access, plenty of parking, and a 24-hour ATM. Ulster Savings Bank, invested in community, invested in you. Member FDIC.
All right, folks, we're back. This is Thunder Thursday, and we're booming along or flashing along. Flash. We're going. We're flashing and booming. So we're waiting for our friend John Masurgeon to call in from Central Hudson. And I would think that this is probably a challenging time of the year for Central Hudson, right? With 9,000 feet of snow. And, it's so.
I think it's funny. We had no snow. And then I knew that COVID would have it in for us.
Yeah.
We had no
absolutely.
snow,
It's
and then all of a sudden it's like bam, bam, bam.
Talk about the perfect storm.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it's between COVID and snow, and then we've had these nor'easters, which kind of bring a good chunk of wind with them, right?
Yeah.
And knocking stuff down, and we we'll wait for John to call in, but. The groups that I'm affiliated with, are not-for-profit groups. Like for 15 years, we had the Hudson Valley Rib Fest down in the Ulster County Fairgrounds, and it got canceled last year because of the pandemic, obviously. And so now we're planning. What do we do? Do we have it? Do we not have it again?
Yeah,
and,
it's hard to plan for that.
Pretty big ticket for. The county fairgrounds to rent it, and if it's going to get pulled out, I presume we can either get the money back or so. But we're kind of up in the air. Last year we did a what was called the let's see, what the heck was it called? Rotary Rib Fest Restaurant Revival. The 4 R's.
The 4 R's.
4 R's. And that infused. I think we raised about $10,000 for the restaurants in the area.
Wow, that's great.
That was amazing.
That's great.
And I handed checks personally to some restaurant owners for $1,700.
Wow, that's great. Yeah.
It was really back. This was going back now roughly, maybe around June, before the summer, before they were actually able to open up a little bit, and they were so appreciative. Of that. So, and then, the Italian festival in October, the Huli in October. I think
Garlic Festival.
Huge.
Yeah, huge.
Huge economic impact.
Have you seen anything about what the timeline is with the vaccination and when they plan? I mean, I guess it's just, I'm curious to see what the summer is going to look like, and it's kind of hard to plan, especially like you say, fundraisers for not-for-profits.
The biggest issue is the lack. Yeah, you can't. I think if the supply of the vaccines were to be increased, or if they release it, or whatever the heck's going on, I think I forget what the statistic is about percentage of the population that needs to be vaccinated, then for the herd immunity to kind of start kicking in. And I want to say it was about half, but that would mean there's like how many people in the United States now? Is it
370 million.
Is it that many?
Yeah, somewhere in the 300 million.
Yeah. So that would mean, roughly 150
over 150 million
would have to be vaccinated. So I don't know. It's just hard to envision, No, I don't know. Here, talk to John. Sorry.
No, it is hard to envision, and it's hard.
Sorry about that.
Technical difficulties.
Yes, we are.
It is hard to envision. It's hard to.
I thought he was on the phone already.
No, we're trying to find him.
Send out the search party. So it is. So do you have, what do you do in the summer? Are you going to plan any vacations?
So we're supposed to go down to Myrtle Beach. We're going down, I think, in August, second or third week in August, which we were supposed to go last year, and that got canceled, and so we just got a credit on the condo, credit on the flight, and so we're going to give that a whirl again. So
you play golf down there?
No, we typically just go and hang. I do play golf, but not, we don't go. There's just four of us that go, and we just kind of relax a little bit. And,
good. That's a place I've never been.
Is this a cell phone, Tony, or is this a? Can I text? Do you ever text the dude?
I haven't, but try it.
Let's try.
Yeah. So it's funny because he confirmed the email, so I'm not.
Yeah, it is. You have texted him before.
Okay.
I won't read any of them out loud.
You can. I don't care. Hey, John, can you lower my electric rate?
Yeah. Maybe we should just start making things up.
Right, exactly.
We don't know.
Exactly. So, so it's kind of crazy time to plan. How do you plan for any of this stuff?
I know. So I kind of am in a little bit of denial. So I went on and I planned a trip to take a cruise in Alaska.
Oh, nice.
And
the whole family on that?
My husband and my kids.
Okay,
because I thought there's a great trip. We've been sitting home doing nothing.
Yeah.
Be an opportunity to be outside and
Right.
Not just sit at the beach, but go do different things.
Alaska would be awesome.
Yeah, different adventures.
Yeah.
So I booked it just on a whim, knowing that I could cancel up to like a week or so before. And then I started looking at what the rules are to go into Alaska. I thought they would have told you this on the cruise website, but it's like
almost like Canada.
Yeah,
you
gotta
can't get in and can't get out.
Yeah. So I don't know if that's gonna happen, but I'm remaining hopeful.
Yeah, right.
I'm remaining hopeful.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
I always wanted to go like up towards Nova Scotia too.
My parents did that.
Was
Yeah,
that cool?
they
Did like
loved
it?
Nova Scotia.
Yeah, I believe that. It's just a whole different world up there and it's, I don't know how far it is, but it's not like going to Alaska.
It's a big trip. That's a big trip. Yeah.
But I think there's a fair amount of people that are going down to the Carib. Still, I think people are now that some of the airline restrictions have eased up a little bit too. Lawrence was talking to us when he went down to Florida. It was like an airline full.
When
of
I
people.
flew from Fort Lauderdale to Chicago, there was 300 people on the plane.
Wow.
And it felt, you have to wear your mask the whole time, but it's not like the old days when we flew before the Coco.
Yeah.
People would be talking, you'd be drinking.
Yeah.
It was all, who's your neighbor? You would make friends with the guy on the flight because you're sitting next to him for 3 hours.
Yeah.
Now,
Not watching
it's
videos
like being in a library or a church when they're reading the gospel.
My daughter says that about lunch at school. She said that is, usually lunch is like the thing you look forward to when you're in school. And she said it's really awkward because they all have to sit facing the same way and they have to be so far apart.
Yeah.
And it's so quiet that kids actually don't want to eat lunch because
it's weird.
It's weird.
Yeah.
It's
the
really
airports
weird.
are pretty quiet too. If you're with your if you hear loud people talking, then they're all together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But, like when we got to Chicago, that was a little different. That snow that was on the way here, it was snowing like that.
Right.
Really crazy. So people were all kind of freaking out. But Chicago O'Hare is a huge airport.
Right.
It's like as big as LAX or JFK.
Yeah.
And it was like church. It was quiet.
That's
everybody
eerie.
just keeps to themselves, and like no one else. And then, if God forbid you cough or sneeze, the whole airport looks at you.
Coughing and sneezing has taken on a completely
I go in the bathroom. If I really have to
It's
cough or
like,
sneeze, I'll go in the bathroom and do it.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to get the.
I know.
It's
I can
really,
feel the eyes on the back
people,
of my neck.
People freak out. I know. I wonder after this is all said and done if that part will, go away.
Yeah, but it is getting better though. Like with the way the way our dictator over governor had it before, we couldn't fly back in from other states.
Yeah.
Without getting all these tests. Now you just have to get the one test from the state that you were coming from. I texted him. He didn't text back. So you get what I did was the day before I came back to New York. I was staying down in Fort Lauderdale, in the Boca Town Center in Boca Raton. You could drive right into a tent.
Yep.
You got out for a second. They took your temperature. You went in. You filled out a questionnaire. They took, they swabbed me, and then 18 minutes later, they texted me, said, "No, you're good." You take that on your phone with the little green check mark. You walk up to the desk when you get off at New York.
Yep.
And that's it. You're good as long as you got tested, and you don't have the virus. You can come back into the state.
So this was in the airport at New York.
When I landed in Albany, yeah.
Okay.
It doesn't. If everybody has their phone out, there's a huge green check on your phone. You fill out this questionnaire, like prior to you entering New York.
Okay.
They ask you the same questions over and over. You got any symptoms? Do you have this, and that? No, I don't. Have you been in contact? Have you been around 30 people in the last 24 hours?
Yeah,
they ask you all the questions that we're normally used to asking. Not what's going on in the airport, what you did prior to getting to the airport. Okay. Then when you get there, they do all that. And as long as you got the green check mark. And then they texted me a couple of days after I landed. "How are you feeling? Do you have diarrhea? Have you thrown up on anyone?" Like
symptoms.
No, dude, I don't. I'm fine.
Yeah.
But you answer that why or no, and then they say thank you for participating, and that's pretty much it. Before Thanksgiving, you used to not be able to come into New York from another state that had a high percentage rate. So I used to have to fly through Baltimore. Remember when COVID kind of ended in June?
Right.
New York was like at the top of the list. We had like absolutely no.
Yeah, we were in good shape.
Yeah, we were doing in good shape, and then the second thing happened, and we started doing bad like every other state.
Right.
So speaking of crowded planes, we'll talk crowds. I know this is old news since it's Thursday, but let's talk about the Super Bowl a little bit. 25,000 people in the stadium, so it'll be very interesting. Wow. Yeah, 25,000. Yeah. So, and a third of them were healthcare workers who were getting
they had a whole
tickets.
section to themselves.
7,500. Yeah, right.
Yeah. And then the remainder of them, the tickets. I guess the average ticket price was like $6,000.
Yeah.
So,
probably, I mean,
but it was
a normal ticket to go to a Super Bowl face value is probably like, I don't know, $750, between $750 and $1,000.
Yeah.
So they upsell.
So yeah.
But did you see the Miley Cyrus thing before the game with her with the football outfit on and all the people in the? I guess they were doing it for first responders, but they were all standing out there without masks on.
Yeah.
Every single one of them. There must have been at least 4,000 people in the audience, singing to her, and that was Joan Jett, right? That was singing with her.
I don't know. I didn't see that.
It was like a half hour before. It was a pregame.
Okay, I didn't have the TV on.
She actually had a football helmet on.
Oh, really?
I don't know if this matters, but conceivably, all those folks were vaccinated.
Right. That's what I was thinking.
I would guess.
Right, but
because they were.
I don't know, but all
first responders.
Right.
My guess
the first responders, yes, but the rest of the people, that was only 30% of the people in the stadium. I don't know about the rest of the people.
The other ones had masks on or not?
Well, so I mean, when you looked, some of them did, but in the beginning, when they were showing, I think when they were standing maybe for the anthem or what, there was some part in the beginning I remember. Where they were showing, the players on the sidelines, and then you could see behind that there were a lot of people that had their masks down.
Did you see the one guy with his beard and it almost spilled onto his wife?
Yes, I did.
I was like, that guy don't even have a mask on.
I know, I know.
I thought maybe he was a friend of the player.
Yeah, but it'll be interesting to see what the aftermath of that is, and I hope it's good. I hope there's not an outbreak. I think it'll be
pretty open.
Yeah, but I think it'll be a good, for New York, like maybe we can go from 10% to 25,000.
Yeah, the front page of the sports today in the Post says that the Mets and the Yankees will allow 10% capacity for games starting.
Yeah.
They're going to try to start on time. So the Yankee Stadium holds, what is it, 70?
No. 50,000 now.
Okay,
yeah,
so 5,000 people
Yeah.
out of the 50 can go to the
Yeah.
Yankee
It's
game.
gonna be like a BB in a boxcar.
Yeah, it's going to be, I know, exactly.
You're over there.
Yeah.
I mean, I hope when we get to September that I can still go to Giant games again.
I think so. No, I think you will be.
This is the first time I actually missed a game that I didn't go to a Giant game.
Yeah.
Since I was 10.
I think that if we get to the fall and we're not allowed to do those kinds of things, there's going to be a
gonna be
major civil war.
Revolution.
So, yeah,
I
major
hope.
revolution.
I would have. Oh wait, we got a call. Maybe it could be your buddy.
Okay. Or it could be Scott Harrington because I texted him, see if he was around.
So anybody. Oh, it is. Scott wants to talk
So
to
I
us.
see that since Tony didn't, or since John didn't call in, you got Scott to call in.
Yeah.
Okay, he's on the air.
Yes, he
Morning,
did.
Scott.
No, you're not second fiddle.
I am second fiddle.
You are
I'm like
not.
your backup guy. That's
You are not. We could have just kept blabbering on about stuff. But
Wait, was there a streaker in the NFL that made 350 grand?
So that's I wanted to talk about that too.
Super Bowl, yeah.
The rumor is that he made a bet in Vegas that there would be a streaker at the Super Bowl.
come on.
Oh, really?
And he won $365,000.
Oh,
Now,
Dude.
yeah.
That's
Scott, was that you, by the way?
My thing is, he wasn't really a streaker. I mean, I take a streaker as
Totally
you're
naked.
naked. I went to college with a guy. I don't know if this is appropriate for the air, but it's really funny. I went to college with a guy. He was a big teddy bear, and he would do anything.
Like Will Ferrell.
Yes,
Like
he
a
would
Will
do
Ferrell.
anything for a case of beer. And so
Lord.
I loved him, but his fraternity brothers would get so mad because he would all of a sudden he would just streak through parties. And everybody
For a case of beer.
everybody would leave, but so this is what he did. One day we had a big snowstorm in college. It was actually April Fool's. It was April 1st. And he actually jumped out the dorm window and did a snow angel.
Oh my
and
Lord.
then ran on campus. That is true streaking at its best. What I saw at the Super Bowl was not streaking.
Scott, it was not. I know you're a teddy bear-like guy, but it wasn't you.
And someone else who would do anything for a case.
So you're not going to believe this. John Masurgeon's on the line too.
Yeah, that's good. That's okay. Scott, we'll take both of you guys.
Yeah, take both of them. They're both on. Morning, John.
Oh, good morning. Sorry, you got two of us.
You
Sorry.
talk to John. I'll call back later.
Okay, bye, Scott.
All right, brother. Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks. Hey, John. How are you?
Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, how's it going?
It's going fine.
Okay.
It's,
The alarm clock not go off?
Exactly.
Right. Well, meet Valerie Dwyer. She's our new co-host for the second and fourth Thursdays. I know you've been meeting a lot of new co-hosts. Scott was just on the phone. He called in from Florida. We'll talk to him a little bit later on. So how are you, and how's the world of Central Hudson going?
I am fine, thank you. I hope you're doing well too. And hi, Val. How are you?
Hi, good morning. Nice to meet you.
Yes, the world at Central Hudson is going just fine, actually. We're still quite busy in terms of construction projects, despite the snow and the weather. Our employees seem to be quite productive, fortunately. There's a lot going on in terms of the energy landscape in New York, as we're transitioning to, I guess we'll call it a greener economy. So there's a lot to do to prepare for that. So things are going.
Tell us some of
well,
that.
actually.
What types of things are you talking about there in terms of the preparation, roughly?
Well, first of all, our energy efficiency programs are expanding pretty widely. There's more funding available for conversions to heat pumps and also conversions to high efficiency lighting, LEDs. I don't know if you recall, but our SenHub store, unfortunately, had to close.
Right. Scott was very
But-
disappointed with that because he bought something, a couple of thermostats or something. I know for Yvonne for Christmas. He was very disappointed that SenHub closed. That was the Central Hudson's online store.
Okay.
And you can get like
Yeah.
dollar LED bulbs. It
Oh,
was really
okay, I
cool.
didn't know that.
Yeah. But apparently it wasn't cool enough, so because it's no longer there.
Right. But what we did was we expanded our network with local retailers.
Right.
So now you can get those same deals by shopping at a local store.
Okay, well that makes sense.
That's good. That's
any of the Ace True Value hardware store,
Right.
Which encompasses a lot of the smaller independents.
Yeah.
And as well as some of the big box stores too.
Is Herzog's
So,
that? Are they a True Value or?
I think, yeah,
They're
they
True
are.
Value?
Yeah.
Or what's the other one? There's another one.
Sherwin-Williams
Yeah.
across the river, but I know it's. I think I see underneath the Herzog's thing it says
True
True
Value.
Value.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Right. Yeah. Many of the local independents have joined affiliations with Ace True Value.
Mhm.
Those that have been around for 100 years.
Right.
have done so. So it's a great relationship. It's a way to engage with a lot of these local retailers and support our local businesses. And, at the same time, provide these great deals for our customers looking to become more energy efficient. So there's
John, can I just interrupt you? I think hasn't there been over the last several years kind of a move towards more energy efficiency? I mean, I can remember. Well, it was either Kingston Hospital or one of the nursing homes I ran, doing replacing ballast and lights and getting more LEDs in. And that's been going on for a long time.
A long time, yeah.
Yes, it has, and
what's new?
That's continuing.
Yeah.
That's a great program where Central Hudson will pay for up to 80% of converting from standard lighting to high efficiency LED lighting. We will send in a consultant who will look over the facility, make a report as to what the consultant thinks would be best for that location, and then Central Hudson will pay for 80% of converting taking out the ballasts and the fixtures and replacing them with a high efficiency LED lighting. And usually the payback on that 20% that the shop pays is less than a year.
Yeah.
So it is a great deal. It's a way to become more energy efficient, and actually, in most cases, it drastically improves the lighting in the facility because here you have a professional, a lighting consultant that can make recommendations as to where the lighting should go and how it
Right.
should, and the type that should be installed. So it's usually brighter, cleaner light at the.
Do you see more changes because of the president's initiatives or announcements? I know some of his moves are not popular right off the bat, but maybe they were in some corners. But other corners, I think they lost a bunch of jobs, but the environment may be protected. But, do you see more of that stuff coming down the road now?
I do, actually, and not just on the federal level, but it's always been that way on the state level. In 2019, the state passed the Climate Leadership and Community Protection Act, the CLCPA, which enshrines into law emissions reductions for New York State by 2035 and by 2040, with a goal of completely renewable electricity by 2040. So that means some big changes in the way electricity is generated and distributed.
That's like less than 20 years?
Yeah. And the power grid has to be updated in order to accommodate this big change. And that's part of what Central Hudson is doing in terms of rebuilding substations, bolstering the distribution grid, which are the lines that we see as we drive through our communities, neighborhoods, and also some big investments in the transmission lines that carry power from one region of the state to the other. And the reason for that is because many of the renewable resources that are going to be built are not going to be here in the Hudson Valley, believe it or not. Much of it is going to be built
It could be in Kansas,
upstate
huh?
New York,
right?
Where the wind resources are located.
Yeah, that.
So So there's a big push to get these investments in the electric grid going quickly. So what we're seeing that now, actually, there's going to be a new transmission line that's going to be built from Rensselaer County down to Dutchess County. It's going to be built within an existing corridor. It's actually going to replace existing transmission structures with brand new transmission structures. So that's coming. Probably start sometime this year, and there are other projects that are taking place as well. So there's a lot happening on the renewable energy front.
John, just to switch gears a little bit, I'm actually glad you're on the phone because this has been on my to-do list to research and investigate this, and it keeps getting pushed down to the bottom of my to-do list. So, quote unquote, asking for a friend.
Right.
If I was interested in having someone look at my energy bill as far as electricity to see it just and I would never be one to complain about Central Hudson or anybody who's providing that service, because it really is amazing when you think you can walk in a room and hit a switch and flick and electricity and we use natural gas, but I just feel as though my consumption is really high when I get those reports, when they compare me, to my neighbors. And, we're not home all day. Our lights, my son leaves every light on in his bedroom, but do you offer a service to, or is there a place I could go, to see what it is that's driving up my electricity consumption?
Good question. It's a great question.
Just the units. I'm not complaining about the pricing. I'm just from the unit standpoint.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You can call our main phone number. It's 452-2700, and you can speak with the customer service representative, and we'll often send a representative out to the house to take a look at what sort of appliances or what the situation might be within your home.
Okay.
If you feel that the usage is excessive, then maybe something's wrong, and it's something that we need to look at.
Right.
I'm not saying this is the case for you or for your friends, so to speak, but sometimes we find that well pumps are running overtime, and they should not be.
Okay.
In the case of my house, I'll tell you, we have a dehumidifier that's working in the basement to try to keep it dry, and that uses a lot of electricity.
Okay.
But there could be other situations in your home that need to be looked at.
Yeah.
And we can certainly advise you on what you should be looking for.
Okay.
Is it worse in the summer or winter, or you don't?
I feel as though I really noticed it
For your friend.
For my friend. So my friend found that when my bill went from every other month to monthly, I thought
big variations. Yeah,
no, because they used to bill every other month, right? So it used to be. So what used to be my bill for every 2 months is now what I'm paying every month.
Oh, that doesn't sound right.
Something sounds really off.
Because what happens in my house is that we have the 1 month, which is I think an estimate, John, right?
Yes, and then it trues up.
It trues up, but that estimate is always about the same number, and it's lower than the real number when it pops up every other month. But and I guess one of the ways to fix that is to go on a budget. But the consumption issue is the consumption issue, and you need to know what the drivers are.
Right.
So John, with the COVID, is that a problem with you?
I was going to ask that.
Going in the house?
Yeah, it can be, yes. So it depends on the household and the situation and what's going on in your particular home. Sometimes it's just a conversation on the phone with a series of questions that can help prompt what might be going on, and sometimes it's going to warrant an actual visit. So if it does warrant a visit, then we have a discussion. And it is possible for a representative to come in and take a look. We'll take the proper safety protocols.
Right.
And
their house has been purified.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, in a residential situation, that should be fairly cut and dry. If you're in a business community with a bunch of other businesses, and maybe there's a business above or a business below, and you got a shared, it can be a little dicey. But it's a single family house.
Yeah, and a lot of times.
So it's not like fairly straightforward in that case.
Yeah.
Right. So that's good.
Okay, that's good to know. Thank you.
So give the number one more time, please. John?
Yes.
Give the number one more time.
It's 452-2700. 845-452-2700.
Do you get a human, or do you get a series of dial 1 for this and dial 2 for that, or?
You'll hear a recording first, and then if a representative is available, you'll be connected right away.
Okay.
If not, just hit 0 and you'll be connected to someone.
Great.
I'm going to tell them that you sent me.
Yes.
Just joking.
You can say that.
No, you should. Absolutely. We got to scoot along, but anything else you want to share? I mean, I know the nor'easters have come, and hopefully they're gone, but wind creating storms and havoc probably.
We've certainly had some weather, but it is cold.
Yeah.
And when the cold energy use goes up, so better to set your thermostat a little bit lower if you can. Bundle up, put a sweater on, and that'll go a long way towards helping manage your energy bills.
Great. All right, John Masurgeon, thank you so much. Thank you for being an underwriter, Central Hudson, for Kingston Community Radio. We sincerely appreciate it. We'll speak to you again next month, and we'll send you the wake-up call around 7 this time.
Good idea.
All right, brother. Thank you so much, John.
Have
all
a good
the best.
day.
Be safe. Be well.
Hi to Scott. All right. Bye-bye.
Yeah, we'll do. Thanks. Bye-bye.
You're listening to Kingston Community Radio on WGHQ Kingston. On your radio at 920 AM and 92.5 FM, and also online at mykcr.org.
Someone in your town, at your school, or where you work is suffering from Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis. They're dealing with excruciating pain and days when they can't even get out of bed. Chances are someone you know has Crohn's or colitis. Someone like me. I'm Amy Brenneman, and I'm asking you to support the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation of America to help millions of us cope and to find cures. Visit ccfa.org today to learn more. Help someone you know get back to their lives at ccfa.org.
Think fast. In the short time it takes to listen to this message, a small flame can turn into a big fire. Several minutes more, and thick, poisonous smoke may have filled your lungs and reduced your ability to respond. Give it 5, and your entire home may be filled with flames.
Keep breathing. We got you.
Don't let your world go up in smoke. Have working smoke alarms and practice an escape plan for you and your loved ones. Learn more at usfa.fema.gov, because fire is everyone's fight.
Hi, this is Tony Marmo from Norman Staffing, and we've been bringing together employers and job seekers since 1980. If you're an employer and have job vacancies, let Norman Staffing help fill them with permanent or temporary workers. We screen, interview, and recommend the best candidates for your company. We make the employment process easier and faster for you. Please call Norman Staffing for your employment needs at 338-9111, 338-9111, or normanstaffing.com.
Have you ever experienced a wish come true? For a child battling a critical illness, a wish come true can be a turning point. One song, one dance, one game, one adventure, one moment changes everything. Make-A-Wish needs your support to grant the wish of every eligible child. Visit wish.org now to help grant more life-changing wishes. Together, we can transform lives, one wish at a time.
Hi, this is Winnie from the Rosendale Seniors, and I support Kingston Community Radio, and so should you.
This programming is brought to you by the Friends of Kevin Cahill. As a strong advocate of local broadcasting, Assemblymember Cahill urges you to support Kingston Community Radio with your time and donations. Your contributions keep KCR vital and on the air at FM 92.5, AM 920, and on the web at mykcr.org. Please join Assemblymember Cahill and send your gifts of $10, $25, or more to Kingston Community Radio, Post Office Box 4364, Kingston, New York 12402. Together, let's keep KCR alive.
Okay, we're back. All right, folks, this is Thunder Thursday, and this is Flash.
Ba 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 boom.
All right, so I just got fact checked, and I was wrong.
I love Google
I
and Siri
know.
and everything else. Yeah.
So we want to do birthdays real quick, but we also want to give a shout out. Do you want to give the quick shout out?
I want to give a shout out to my husband, Dennis,
Hey,
who's
Dennis.
listening and just answered one of our questions. He said that he just heard on the news that 1 out of every 10 Americans have been vaccinated so far.
Right. So
it's about 10%.
325 million.
Yeah, we got.
Is that fact
yeah,
checked?
about that's.
You
yeah.
think it's-
So
I think
no, that would be about 30
population of you-
million people
about
have
30
been.
million.
About 30 million have been.
Right.
33 million maybe, something
been
like that.
vaccinated.
Have been vaccinated.
So all right. So that's
So we've got 90% of the way to go.
yeah.
Well, if only half get vaccinated, then.
Well, the thing is, yeah. Well, let's do the birthday, then we can.
Okay.
And then our guests hopefully are going to
Hey,
show
all
up.
your guests are calling in late today. What's up with that?
I have no
know.
idea. I don't know.
I'm playing with you, dude.
Maybe that's the snow. It's the COVID. It's
It's the COVID.
Always blame it on the cocoa.
Yeah, we're going to blame everything on the COVID. So we want to wish a very special happy birthday to Pat Smith from your friends at People's Place. We hope that you enjoy your special day.
All right, and the winner of the delicious cow pie from Boyce Dairy Milk House at 62 O'Neill Street in Kingston is. Guess what?
No way. No,
I
no.
can't
Oh my gosh.
Pat, enjoy your cow pie, but you need some friends to help you eat that. Have you
Yeah.
ever had a cow pie?
Is that the ice cream cake?
Yes.
Yeah.
yes,
Oh yeah.
yes,
Of course.
Yes.
Of
Yes.
course.
Yes. From Boyce's.
Of course.
Yeah,
That's the
delish.
go-to.
Yeah, like graham cracker bottom, and there's.
I'm not a big fan of that fudge though. I just like I want more of the cookies, the
want more
crunch
crunch.
cookies. Yeah.
I get it.
I like that.
Last Friday, like 6 days ago, Hugh and Mario were on.
Yeah.
So we're doing birthdays or whatever. The person that won the pie on Friday died on Wednesday or on Thursday.
Oh,
and I didn't realize it until after we
Oh,
they
my
Oh,
were
word.
97 or 98. I mean, if I lived that long, my God.
Yeah.
But still, I was like, what?
Yeah, what's the chances of that happening?
Yeah. What are the chances?
It's like the
of
first time it's ever happened in 20
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
And it wasn't like me or my mother didn't miss it. It happened to just be in the obituary last Friday. And
Right.
we do the birthdays. They're done last week.
Yeah,
You know,
right. Yeah.
prior. So he died in between. And, we didn't know because
Ah.
of all the things going on. But anyway, our condolences.
Speaking about that, I mean, just some condolences again to the Sinagra family. Tony Sinagra passed away not too long ago. He was a longtime community servant, elected official, businessman. His wife, Joan, who predeceased him, worked for Senator Larkin. The Sinagra family is amazing. Joe Sinagra's on the radio. Phil Sinagra, legislator, chair, and so our condolences go out. They're also related to the Falutico family, so and probably a bunch of other Italians, but so condolences go out there, and also to the Yash family, Bill Yash.
Yeah.
who's
That was a tough one.
tough one.
Yeah,
He
he's-
battled for a long time. What
did.
a gentle soul and a great man, and as a teacher, influenced so many young people. And
Yeah. He was not my teacher, but he was one of my club advisors.
Yeah.
I was president of a club, and he was the club advisor, and I had a really great relationship with him. And even, years after school, I really only saw him I always saw him at the St. Patrick's Day parade, and it was just always, he was such a sweet,
just
sweet
a great guy,
man.
just a great guy, and
he will be missed.
I know he's close to, very close to, many people in the AOH, but especially Ken Brett,
Yeah.
who was co-hosting here, and they did they've done the Irish show for like 35
Mhm.
years on KNY. And so I did, Leanne and I listened to their last show, I think, was January 17th.
17th, yeah.
So condolences go out to the Yash family. And
we've lost a lot of good people. I know
absolutely.
that Harriet Stote passed away, which was a real loss to the community as well. We've lost some really
stalwart
good people
that have been around for a long time.
John Ford passed away. It's been a tough start.
I don't know if that's COVID related or just, I know Bill, battled cancer for a number of years. I don't think Tony had any pre-existing medical conditions, but it just seems like it's accelerated, right?
It does.
If you text Scott to call up and be a guest,
I know.
then Veronica and Kevin will call in.
I don't want to call Scott back.
Why? He's got stuff to talk about.
I'm afraid he's going to hang up again.
He's fine, dude.
I know.
It's 75 and where he's at. Good to go.
I'm starting to get a complex. Maybe it's me. I don't want to call him because of me.
Usually Kevin and Veronica call at like 7:55.
I know. It's atmospheric conditions. I don't know what's going on.
COVID.
We can blame the Chinese or maybe the Russians or somebody for interfering with KCR. We'll reach out to Kevin and see. Or we can ask other folks to call in, 331-9255, and give us a. You haven't spoken to Val yet.
Yeah, that would actually be great because I feel like we're always talking so much that nobody gets to call in. So if anybody wants to call in and
ask a question, make a comment. I know there's other folks out there that do have opinions about what we talk about, but we'd like to hear from some of those folks.
What do you got going on for Valentine's Day this weekend? Anything good?
Well, we're watching our grandson, which is kind of cool. On Saturday evening, Lucas and Lauren are going to go out to dinner. They're going to Graziano's Tecchia at the top of Broadway, which is an original Italian food place.
Wait, he's not downtown anymore?
Negative. He's at the top of Broadway, up by Ask, up by Art Society.
Okay. I didn't know that either.
Right at the top of Broadway.
What, like where the Anchor used to be?
No.
Way up.
Farther than that?
Yeah. Almost where
No, you're talking about down by the police station, though.
Oh, you've been the old police station. A long time ago in a land far, far away.
Yeah, what land was that? Because I don't remember. I don't remember that Drive.
He's right at the top of Broadway. As you start going down towards the Strand, where the traffic light is.
He's not talking
by
you.
The top of Broadway is up by
by St. Mary's Church.
The bottom of Broadway.
Yeah.
You never lived on Broadway.
I know. That's why I knew what you were talking about, and I knew what you were talking about. I was trying to bridge the gap.
So he's there. A really small place. The downtown cafe. He cooks right in front of you. He's always kibitzing with people.
He's a really good cook, man.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Good.
So
my in-laws love the downtown cafe.
So Luke and Lauren are going there. We get to watch Adrian, who's into his science projects now. He's like 4 and change years old, and so they bought him like a little chemistry kit or science. So he's making bases, and he's got baking soda, and he's got 20% vinegar, and
he's like a little mini Walter White.
Yeah, it's hilarious. I mean, it's absolutely hilarious, and he's got his PPE on, and he's got his little lab coat on. And it's hilarious. It really is. We were with him this last weekend.
I love that. That's wonderful. Yeah.
So we're watching him Saturday night, and then Sunday we're going out to dinner somewhere. I'm not sure.
Good. It'll be interesting to see how that goes with capacity and Lock
and R's been pretty packed on the weekends. I don't know what they do during the week, but Saturday night there was. I mean, they were going through the proper spacing, but there was a lot of people there.
Where was this?
I mean, at Lock and Art on Fair Street. Yeah,
they've
been pretty packed through the whole thing.
Good.
And back when the elections were going on, I didn't really see many people from Kingston in there. Now, since the holidays are over, I see Ken and Anna Brett in there.
Yeah.
I see Paul Gruner in there a couple times a month. I mean, there's a lot of people that are coming in that are local, so that's good to see.
Yeah, no, so that's I mean, I think it's appropriate, that folks are going out and supporting the local restaurants safely, appropriately. I don't think we give our business owners enough credit for being able to contend with the safety precautions that are required. I think most businesses do what they need to do, restaurants especially, and, God forbid if there is a case, they shut it down. That's happened to a bunch of area restaurants. And not a bunch, but enough. But I think, the government wants to say, well, you're not smart enough to figure out these things, and for your own safety and everybody else's safety, we're just going to basically shut you down.
Well,
it's offensive, really.
It is, and I think I was actually speaking to my parents who are down in Florida, and we got Joe Biker in the studio.
Yeah.
So we're going to go to that. But,
in the house.
But one of the things my parents said where they are in Florida that I thought made a lot of sense is they said you go to the grocery store, everybody has a mask on. You go out to dinner, it's packed, nobody has masks on, and I thought, you know what? That represents choice, right?
Yeah, right.
You everybody needs to go to the grocery store and get food, but if you want to go and do your other thing, you're given the option to do that. And so, because again, as we've been saying, the businesses are really taking a hit. So
yeah.
So anyway, so my vote is
yes.
Because we got a lot of stuff to talk to Joe about.
We do.
So let's start our conversation with Joe.
Let's get at it.
And then if our 8 o'clock, if Veronica and Kevin call in, then we'll put Joe on pause and we'll go back.
Right. Let's get at it.
So,
we have questions.
Yeah, let's get to it. Let's get to it.
Welcome, Joe Biker.
Yeah.
How are you?
Tony, Val, this is exciting. It's
Yeah.
like a morning show.
Yeah.
Tony and Val.
Yeah, this is a big deal, man.
It's going to be ABC.
Yeah.
We're heading that way. I like
it. Yeah.
That's the Strahan is out. Those guys. He's on ABC, I think, right? Strahan's on ABC.
I don't want
He's on Good Morning America now.
Me either.
Direct competition.
I try not to. Yeah, I know. So
we have Joe Biker in the studio from Timely Signs, who is a very good friend of mine, and I'm very excited to have him here. So welcome.
Thank you for having me.
We talked a little bit about. Well, I started out by talking about. Well, no, I started talking about the garage that your grandfather had started the printing shop with. He's laughing already because I would go in that place and just the smell of ink was everywhere, permeated. It was. I mean, I can almost smell that today.
Yeah,
I really
can. I'm pretty sure it's still in some of the clothes. For sure.
It's got to be in the wood. It's got to be in the wood there.
Absolutely.
So, and funny that you have that story. And I know I talked to you briefly about this, but I have, how there's certain things that you remember from a very young childhood. And one thing that I always remember is on Albany Avenue, across from like where the tuxedo shop is, and I was like maybe 4 or 5 years old, there was a bank. My mom would always bring me through that drive-through, and I would always sit in the back of the car, and I would look over to the right, and there was a big sign. It said Timely Signs, and I feel as though there was the glass storefront almost kind of maybe wrapped around, so where I was, I could kind of see inside the showroom or the store if you could.
Absolutely.
And I don't know if I'm imagining this.
You're not. I know where you're going, so you're definitely not imagining it.
I feel as though I maybe remember like a Tin Man or something.
A Tin Man.
And I remember looking at it thinking, what the heck is that store? And it was Timely, and I'm 4 years old, so I'm thinking, is it a clock store? What's with the Tin Man? So I want to hear this story.
What's the story?
What's the scoop?
The interesting part about that is, and you're absolutely right, it wasn't a Tin Man, it was a gorilla.
Okay. I knew I was scared.
No, there was a few different, and there was also a clown.
Okay.
My father was the true entrepreneur. If you looked in the back of that shop, there were portable signs. Everybody had a portable sign. You would announce your child's birth. We had storks that he used to rent. It was truly incredible. So he would rent those things out to people who basically either had a special event or something with the family. So you're absolutely right. It started out as a trophy shop,
okay,
showroom.
Okay.
So it's funny that's what the memory is. We've evolved beyond that because most municipalities don't allow the portable signs. There's not a huge market for the rentable gorilla and clown anymore.
There should be. There might be.
I get it.
Post-COVID.
You know what? Good marketing because it got my brain going. I still remember it. So.
In the door. That's it. So we hooked somebody.
Yeah, you hooked me.
So I have a question because I know you and your brother were probably exposed to the business at a very young age, and I know you guys were big in sports and baseball and all that stuff, but at some point, Dad Ozzie probably said, "Yeah, why don't you guys start getting involved?" I mean, tell that story in terms of how because you probably could have gone left or right or a different way, but
could have gone a bunch of different ways.
Yeah.
And I think that is, I've spoken to Gary, Val's father, about just family business, getting people back to the community and things. And that's one thing, even if you talk to my brother, my father never pressured us to come back into the business. I went to George Washington University, degree in business administration. My brother went for graphic design. He started his career in Connecticut. I went to Europe to play baseball. And it's a funny story because he was getting ready to start his family. And over a beer, strangely enough, in Amsterdam, he said, do you want to go into the family business?
This is your dad or your brother?
My brother.
Okay.
Amsterdam as in Europe, Amsterdam, or
New York? Oh, yeah, living it up.
No,
a little different. I'm glad for the clarification on that one, because that's a beer in Amsterdam, New York is different than a beer in Amsterdam.
So, I was in the Netherlands playing, and he came over for a week, and, he threw that at me, and I kind of looked at him like, really? It just wasn't in our cards right at that point.
Yeah.
And he went home. I gave it a couple of months, and I was like, you know what? It's a good idea. So I started, and about 3 months later, he moved back. And from that point on, it's a great partnership because I manage kind of the business aspect of things. He does the design and production and things like that. So it's really been
you each have your own niche, and and your responsibilities are defined. Which is good.
So I mean that's really how it came. And I think my father was excited about it. And kind of surprised. Also had to play referee again.
Yeah, right.
It all comes full circle, doesn't it?
He did that well.
At first, my brother and I had like a separate part of the office where we were on the other side.
Yeah.
And I think it was by design. And then as we grew and added more employees, all three of us shared an office, which was an interesting.
That's interesting.
It was, and we all had the same amount of space. And then it kind of got to the point where my father had the smallest amount of space, and then he just stopped coming in, which I also think was by design. But I think it was an interesting way that we did it. But my father never put pressure on us, never even mentioned it really. But we knew that it was there. So then, with the business degree and understanding like what all of my other graduates and classmates were looking for, it was a layup. I mean, it really was an easy choice.
What year was that, roughly?
I would say 99 is when I graduated.
Was that earlier?
So 2000.
3, 4, 5?
Fall of 2000 was probably.
Fall of 2000. Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Joe and I are the same age.
Okay. All right. So the question.
Don't say that.
Young.
Young.
Yeah. I have T-shirts older than both of you guys. I mean, I know I do. How has the business changed since that time, since 2000? I mean, now 20 years, which is a pretty big run.
Yeah, and I know I also want you to talk about your new venture that you're going into.
What's the evolution?
The evolution for our business, honestly, it's technology, and I think it's every business. For us, when we got back, and my brother and I, we were employee 5 and 6, I think. So we were very small. We had one email address.
Oh wow!
We faxed.
Yes. I still fax. I still fax.
Proofs and proposal. We had to email, or not email. We had to physically mail color samples to people.
Wow.
There was no real digital printing in terms of 4-color process. The technology was fairly new. So there was a lot of things that we kind of grew with just email addresses, and then we started emailing people proofs and things like that.
So you think the technology really has been the big driver, but also with that came a bigger geographical market.
Absolutely.
Right? Your catchment area grew.
Yeah. I mean, I think, once you have that initial meeting, you can correspond with your clients via email and really set everything up. So it really requires that initial meeting, but then the follow-up is a lot easier.
Yeah.
The communication with your client, the expectations. I mean, we've done Zoom meetings or FaceTimes where people can physically show us what they're looking at, or send us a picture, or text us a picture and say, "Hey, this is what I'm looking for," and we can immediately give somebody.
Thank you, pandemic.
Yeah.
Nobody would have done that before the pandemic. And I'm curious now. Did you have a similar story in terms of your family business? In other words, you went to, where did you go to college?
Yes,
again?
I also have a business. So I went to Bryant, and it's funny because as he's saying
Waltham,
this,
right? Waltham? No.
No, that's
Oh.
Bentley.
Oh.
Bryan's Rhode Island.
Oh, Rhode Island. Okay.
So similar story. Graduated college, got my CPA, working for Price Waterhouse, and then briefly worked for IBM. Anyway, at the time, IBM was very big into quote unquote working from home.
Mm-hmm.
This is back in 2002-ish.
Mm-hmm.
And the problem was my husband and I were living in an apartment about the size of this room.
Studio.
And so working from home wasn't really
option. Yeah,
right.
wasn't.
So what I did was I went to my dad's office and I sat at his board table and he sat next to me and he didn't have, he was trying to think about his succession plan.
Right.
And he came over to me one day and he said, "You should quit your job and just come work here. I don't have a succession plan and
Right.
let's do this together and let's, you got the business background, we'll grow the business." And so same kind of, it's a funny story.
Yeah.
And and I know Joe is too, I'm so grateful for that opportunity to, it's your family. There's so much more to it than just any other job with a corporate company. It's
Right.
part of who your family, who your dad was, who my dad was, and we both were raised in that environment. So it's very
But
close to the heart.
It's got another layer in there because with most jobs, you go home and you complain to your spouse or you say, blah, 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 this is going on at work, or blah, 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 you're doing this, you're doing that. This is your family,
Yeah.
this is your, so if you have, let's say a disagreement or saying, hey, I think we should go this way, and maybe the family member's saying, yeah, no, I think we should go this way.
Yeah.
I've been there, done that, seen it. And you're saying, yeah, but I really think blah, blah, blah. So you have another dynamic to add to it, and you never really get away from it, do you? You never get away from it.
It's funny because
Joe, give us your quote. Joe's got a quote for you.
The greatest thing about working with family is you get to see them every day.
Right.
The worst thing about working with family is
You get to see them every day.
That's the quote.
So, my
That's a great
big
one.
thing is every holiday is a board meeting.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Obviously, I
Right.
think the most special person in a family business is the spouse of a person in a family business.
Yeah, right.
They
Right.
deal with pretty much everything. I know my wife, I know Dennis, and the nice thing is that Dennis has a family business. So
Right.
it's a
Yeah.
situation where, it's a lot. There is no separation. When you go home,
Yeah.
you're still,
So-
Arrow Construction. I'm still Timely Signs.
Right.
There's
So
no-
Thanksgiving table could be replete with
I
Some
actually,
kind-
I
You don't
actually,
worry about politics, religion,
Yeah.
or money. You talk
Yeah.
about the
Right.
business, which is as polarizing, I'm sure.
and Joe and I have so much in common.
Yeah.
His wife is my
Jen. Yeah, she's
closest
great.
friends, but Mary.
Oh, Mary. I'm sorry.
Yep,
Who's
yeah.
got Jen?
Paul's got Jen.
Sorry. Yep.
But one of the things we laugh about all the time is because we do have this similar situation where we're working with our brothers. And one funny story you talk about with my brother was we don't really we get along like Joe and
Right.
and Paul. We have very different responsibilities, so there's not really a lot of crossing hairs there, if you will. But I remember one time we were in the office, and this is very unusual, but we really got into it. I mean, yelling at each other back and forth, and there may have been some curse words involved, and everybody in the office is like, "What's going on?" So anyway, so he goes into his office, slams his door. I go into my office, slam my door, and about an hour and a half later, we both walk out, and we have a little kitchen area where everybody comes in. We both walk out to each other, and we both come in the kitchen at the same time. And I can see everybody. I mean, you could have cut
Yeah,
it to
yeah,
everybody's
yeah.
like,
Right.
what is going to go on right now? And I look at my brother, I said, so what do you want to do about lunch? He's like, I don't know, what are you thinking? And everybody's like, what the heck just happened? But it's just gone,
Yeah, we've had that situation where we get into an argument and somebody walked by and was like, what are you guys arguing about? And I was like, we weren't arguing.
We're talking.
We were joking. We were just solving a problem. What's an
Right.
argument?
It's part of the process. It's part of the, yeah.
But let's go back to you. So, because we also have outside of business, we also want to talk to you a little bit. We've got some questions about your grandmother swimming across the Hudson River and all that good stuff. But let's go back, because I know that you guys recently purchased some new equipment and you're getting into new lines. So I want to give you an
So-
opportunity to talk about that.
Yeah, so I mean, our company has obviously evolved. We see businesses at the startup primarily. We focus a lot on healthcare. We focus a lot on banking industry, education. A lot of new businesses come to us. We have been for years getting the question about, do you do shirts? Do you do apparel? What other items do you do? Because people want one-stop shopping.
Merch.
That's
Right.
exactly what it comes down to. And
Yep.
over the past few years, we've considered it. We thought, let's look at buying another company or local company and figuring out. Then the pandemic hit, and it was like, you know what? We're just going to kind of do our own thing. And we've been selling it for about 2 years. We've been outsourcing a lot of it. We've been doing some of it in-house. And we finally made the commitment over the past probably 6 months. We committed to it. We renovated our back. We're in the process of doing it right now. We purchased an automated screen printing press. We've got an embroidery machine. We partnered with Tyson McCaslin and his wife, Jody. Tyson is my first hire when I came back. He's been with us for
He's a great guy.
19 years.
Wow, yeah.
Started out as an intern, and now he is our top salesperson.
Mm-hmm.
And his
Great
wife joined us.
guy.
Unbelievable.
Yep.
Absolutely unbelievable. As good as him is his wife, Jody. And we basically brought her on board a few years ago to start looking into the apparel. They did all of the legwork. They put together all of the needs for the equipment. So that's basically where we are. She's going to run that entire division. We've kind of partnered with them in terms of how we're going to launch this thing. So it's kind of fun to watch because him being our first hire, we've watched his evolution from staff member to family member to husband, now to father. So it's kind of it's just to watch everybody. And I say that about all of our staff. I mean, you're only as good as the people you surround yourself with. And I say that with you don't get to choose your family, but you get to choose your friends, you get to choose your spouse, you get to choose your employees and things like that. And I kind of live by that. So we've surrounded ourselves at Timely Signs with some really great people.
Good.
And our staff is great.
Good.
So a couple of years you've been doing it.
We've dabbled in it for a couple of years.
Okay. Now you're taking a big
Making
plunge.
The next step. And now we have the equipment. We're starting to actively push sales.
Which I think is great, having the equipment in-house. And I know I can say our company, aside from our safety green T-shirts everybody wears in the field, this year we got really nice golf shirts, long sleeve golf shirts, any color, embroidered, really, really nice stuff, like good quality. And I worked with Jody, and I would really recommend it to any company that's looking for that kind of stuff. She was great to work with. The options were endless.
It's great branding. It's great.
Yeah.
It's a great opportunity for your staff if you throw somebody a sweatshirt or a hat or something along those lines, and your staff is out there wearing the apparel.
Right.
It's great advertising.
It's good stuff. Give some contact information for Timely Signs website, Facebook, whatever.
So it's easy.
Phone.
It's timelysigns.com. It's really.
There's no clown on your website.
There's no clown on the website.
There should be. There should be a little.
There are some pictures of my brother and I, so there are a couple of.
By the way,
other than that,
so I went on your website for some reason. I'm not sure why, but I was just blown away, as was a couple of my staff. I showed this to them. You instead of pictures of the adult Joe, there are pictures of of you as a kid and your all the staff.
We've decided to have like kind of a good time with it because it's at the end of the day we're all kids at heart. We have a very good time in our office. We laugh a lot, we joke around, but we do get all of our jobs done. We take it seriously, but you have to love those people that you work with and you sit next to every day.
Yeah.
Because you're with them 40 hours a week.
Yep.
Right,
So,
right.
I feel bad for the person who goes to work and despises their environment. And we
they
try to
should
cultivate
find a new job. Find something that makes you happy.
Too much time.
There's a ton out there.
The only thought I had about that would be kind of cool at some point is putting the adult picture next to the
I
young
think they're maybe
picture.
doing that so there's no identity.
I was going to say
There's a method to the madness.
Method.
There is. We're getting there. We're gonna basically throw that in there. We're in the process. Our designers are working on our new website, which is fantastic, and it will involve potentially some adult photos. I mean, us as adults.
I was gonna say, what does that? What exactly does that mean?
Yet another line of business that we're going into.
It's only 8:30 in the morning.
Lawrence, you want to go to a quick break? Okay.
I don't want to interrupt this great conversation.
Yeah, it's getting very colorful. So I know, and you guys really do. I know you guys do some really cool things with your employees. There's I don't want to say it's not a clam bake. It's a
crawfish boil.
Crawfish boil.
Our big thing is that we want to get our employees.
Low boil?
Oh, it's unbelievable.
Yeah,
We've got Andrew Scandariato from Louisiana. That's kind of his family heritage. And his dad comes in, Joe, and does a crawfish boil every spring.
Yeah. So you just throw it on a table.
It's unbelievable. We just roll out our production tables, and
friends from Georgia do the same thing. Chuck it on a table. It's like
cool stuff.
It's corn, it's crawfish, it's potatoes,
Yep.
it's whatever the hell else you put in
If
there.
you have a cold or any ailment, it's gone. The spices are incredible. They call it monkey dust. Is
Oh,
this
nice.
stuff, and
Yeah.
it's just insane.
Anti-COVID stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, do y'all do websites as well?
We do not do websites.
Okay.
We don't do web design. We work on our own stuff, and we
Okay.
update,
Okay.
our own, maintain our own social media sites. We do.
So you're mostly
Facebook and Instagram.
print, electronic, signage.
Don't you do Braille?
We do a lot of Braille signs, a lot of ADA compliance. Some of the government regulations have expanded our business in the sense of, every public accessible room has to have a grade 2 Braille and raised tactile lettering, which is huge. And in healthcare, the hospitals, Tony,
I think 100 years ago
the
you
expansion
did.
of hospitals and just healthcare in general has changed dramatically. It's a decision we made 18 years ago when we worked with a consultant to go into, focus on that, and it worked out.
It's one of those things. I remember when he told me that. It's one of those things you never really think about. Who does that?
Yeah.
So it's interesting
I
that.
tell my college roommates, I was like, they're a salesman for Cynosure lasers, and I was like, do you ever walk into a hospital? He's like, yeah. I said, you see the signs? He's like, not really. I said, every room has a sign. That's what we do. And he's like, that's a lot of signs. I'm like, it is a lot of signs. That puts it into perspective, but you don't notice it. And the good signs, I think, you notice it when you need it, but it's not something that's going to, hinder
Pop
you.
out.
Exactly.
I want to say one of the places I ran, I know Kingston Hospital, I think you all came in, this is a long time ago, because I left there in 2003, but I think you redid our signage program at Kingston Hospital. I'm sure you did Benedictines as well.
Yeah, we did Benedictine, we do Kingston, we do a ton for Health Quest, which it's now Nuvance, but it's Vassar, Northern Duchess, Putnam Hospital.
Right.
Western Connecticut hospitals now are part of that.
Yeah,
we
great.
go as far north as Glens Falls.
Wow.
We do a bunch for Albany Med.
So that's a great niche to have. Because
Yeah, it is a great niche.
Healthcare is like everywhere.
It's not going anywhere.
Not going
Not
anywhere.
going anywhere.
So it's kind of craziness.
Yeah.
And then also the banks. You do. That's
do a ton for the banks. Ulster Savings, Rhinebeck Bank, Rondout Savings Bank. Cheryl's been fantastic through the years. That relationship between them working with my father, and then as we got into the business now. And my father was the person that some of those folks looked up to, and now I look up to them. It's the circle of business. The evolution of everything. So it's kind of a fun stuff, and they share stories about that, and so the financial institutions have been good.
So Cheryl, that's one of the things that Tony and I were talking about. I think that you and Cheryl serve together on the board of the chamber, and that's one thing that usually we would talk about this when we first get on. But I do want to recognize you'd be hard pressed to find a community event for a not-for-profit where Timely Signs is not involved in some kind of a sponsorship. And we were talking about that actually before you came on, about how community-oriented your family has been. I think you're on, are you still on the cerebral palsy board?
Now Wraparound Community Services, so we renamed.
Jerry Dornwin, my buddy Jerry.
Yeah, absolutely. Jerry does a great job. He's been
amazing.
our executive director for...
He's been a while now.
It's unbelievable because I was involved in the process of bringing him on, so it was I can't believe, don't say how long he's been there because that just puts
Probably 15 years, I'd say.
Ish? Between 5 and 10, which is scary to me.
It's at least 10.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, and everything has changed. I mean, I sit on that board, and I think the community service aspect is huge.
Mm-hmm.
You get out there and you can understand what the challenges are, and whatever you put out in the community is what you'll get back. And just our small community, if we ever have an issue, the amount of people that reach out to us to help and to assist, whether it be from the banking world, from the healthcare world, it's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever you put out there is generally what you're going to get back. And we've noticed that, and that was a big push. And I learned that from watching, obviously, my parents, my mom and dad have always been involved in the community. And it's assumed. It was just assumed that we were going to do that, and the chamber board was fantastic. Great group of people on that board of directors.
That was Scott Harrington was on that board.
I had Scott Harrington.
That was like an A-team. That was A-team. Cheryl.
Kevin Quilty. Cheryl was on. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, that was like the dream team.
The who's who of the board meetings were intense. I still think Ward is recovering from some of them. It's good stuff.
Were you on too? Were you on chamber?
I was never on the board there. I was on the board.
Parasafe, you're on the board.
Yeah. I mean, it was some intense conversations. Elliot Arbach was on the board.
Yes, he was.
I'm
Yes,
trying
he
to think, because
was.
I was on the chamber board for like 12 years, but
You're never not on the chamber.
I know.
Like, you're always
well, I
like
was in
kinda-
the foundation for a while, and then with my Rotary commitment, I had to stop. But I may come back to that board. It's a great group of people, and the chamber is. Speaking about being on search committees, I was on the search committee for Ward Todd back in the day, and that was a big deal in my opinion. Layup, but there was an out-of-towner who had chamber experience, and everybody's saying, "Oh, maybe we should go down that route and bring somebody on from the outside who's run chambers." And there was a group of us that's saying, "Yeah, no, this is a slam dunk." Ward knows the community inside and out. He's got legislative experience, and that was just the best move we made. And Len Kane was amazing.
Oh my gosh!
But Ward, as he invented the chamber in Kingston, and but Ward's taken it to a different level, and his staff. It's an amazing organization now and relevant today. Because it's it's a different world.
I think the chamber has evolved quite a bit, especially with the pandemic and not being able to do some of the
Right.
meetings and things. It's all growing.
Yeah.
And I think the leadership of these organizations is critical. You mentioned Jerry at Rapid
Yeah.
Community
Yeah,
Services is
yeah.
huge. I think Ward that's a perfect hire.
Yeah.
I mean, like you said, it's a layup. And in hindsight, you just pat yourself on the back and say, "Yeah, it was."
I made a good couple of bad ones too, by the way. But
I don't remember those.
forget
You remember the
Yes.
good ones.
Push them aside.
It's funny because you were talking about the Rib Fest, and I remember you chaired the Wing Fest. That's
Yeah,
another. We were
yeah,
talking
yeah.
about all these food festivals and what's going to happen this summer. And
His Rib Festival, Tony, your
Yeah,
Rib
yeah,
Festival
that thing
it
is-
was like what we aspired to.
Yeah.
And I think at some point you pulled me aside and said, "Don't aspire to that. It's a lot of work. It's so much work."
Here's some advice.
And ours was a much smaller event, but it was a tremendous amount of work. I had the opportunity to work with Patty Deegan and Terry Parisian on that, and it's interesting.
Yeah.
The food events are interesting.
Yeah, they are, and ours was a 3-day deal, and so it was, back when we started it, now 16 years ago, it was a lot easier to, move beer barrels around because Don Varian and I were co-chaired the beer tent for all these years, and I'm not a big guy, but I could lift a beer barrel, no problem, move it around. Recently. I get guys like
you get the hand truck out. That's what you got to do.
Yeah.
Matthew Lawback, who's about 6'4" and 250 and a corrections officer, and he moves the beer barrel with one hand.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny. And when I said it's all about who you surround yourself with. That goes with age, and you get
yeah.
and moved around. So
absolutely. But there again, we have to reinvent ourselves. Coming out of the pandemic, I think there's going to be a big demand for these types of festivals once we can.
People are they're going to want, I told my kids, you better have your bags packed because we are going.
Yeah.
Got to get back to
But even locally,
living
I think
life.
people want to just do stuff, and festivals are a big part, O Positive and the Hooli and
the
St. Patty's
Hooli, the
Parade.
St. Patrick's Day Parade.
Has that been canceled yet?
I haven't.
I would imagine that it has to be because we're
Yeah, I
what?
think it's just like
less than a
not-
month
You
away.
only have 2 people
think it was
on
never
every block.
scheduled.
Could you imagine?
It's like, okay, you're the 2 people on this block, you're the 2 people on that block. Come
Go
on.
run on your treadmills at home and let's FaceTime.
Yeah.
That's the pandemic.
It's tough. I feel bad for the high school kids. It's like I have a daughter who started high school this year, and she started remote. As the father of a 14-year-old daughter, not going into the high school and starting remote, I'm kind of okay with it. There's a lot of challenges
But
I don't have to
still.
worry about, but
But they're missing out on
they
stuff.
really are. And I think
Yeah.
that's but I think in terms of the technology, the advancement of technology, the way that they're able to budget their time, or
Yeah.
forced to budget their time, I think is going to be an asset, hopefully, in the future.
I think so.
Trying to look at the bright side of things because there's a lot of issues right now that are not so bright.
You just made me think of something that I can't believe nobody has ever said.
Okay, say it.
Can you
It's the
imagine if this pandemic happened before iPhones, before if it happened, let's say 1995,
Well,
before the World Wide Web, before these kids would have no school for.
But let me say, there were pandemics before this one, not as perhaps in the magnitude, in 08, 09, there was the H1N1, when cell phones were kind of out, the swine flu.
But I'm talking like kids not going to school, swine flu. They didn't pull them out of school.
Well, let me just say this: the tolerance for these things were different back then.
Agreed.
Okay.
Agreed.
Today, it's like everything is shut down. When there was MERS, there was SARS, there was several pandemics, maybe not again to the extent of this one. Ebola was out there for a while, and the world had a different tolerance. It was like, okay, there's a pandemic going on, but the world still has to operate.
Yeah.
So it was different.
I agree.
I agree. And so maybe we've changed. We've changed.
Yes,
we have changed.
If Scott Harrington was there.
Yeah, we've changed.
Scott Harrington would say.
He wouldn't say we've changed. He would say something maybe a little different.
Yeah, he would. He would for sure.
But so I just thought that was
No,
but you are right, and
I think the tolerance for
it's setting an interesting precedent, because what happens the next time?
I think the way that businesses navigate this, I think the way that families navigate this, my wife and I talk about it sometimes in the sense that this past summer, last summer we got together, we started to play games. We started to do things as a family.
Right.
Again, I try to turn back and look at some of the bright sides. I think families became a little bit closer.
I think so.
Bubble tightens up a little bit.
Yep, I think so.
I watched some great stuff. There's something out called The Social Dilemma. I strongly recommend that everybody watch.
I've watched it. My son is a big proponent of that one too.
People are better in small groups, as they're more prepared emotionally to deal with the small groups than some of the stuff that we see now in terms of their networks.
But I think the emotional impact, certainly the economic impact, is going to be felt for quite some time. Mental health issues, substance abuse issues.
Emotional is.
And I don't think we have even a tip of the iceberg on this stuff right now.
No,
People
I
are
agree.
just on numb factor. They're just like,
Yeah.
all right, I'm going to get through this. But at some point, which is why I think 22 I think is going to be a big year. I think 21. We're still going to limp through this year. I mean, I just, more vaccine. Maybe, I'm hopeful by the fall time, we'll be able to get the Italian festival in and the O positive, and things will start opening up. But, we're no Rib Fest again this year, virtual Rib Fest, virtual music. I feel bad for musicians, live performers.
Yeah, live performers,
those small gig businesses and things like that. It's like I talked to Tom Keegan a bunch, and I mean, he used to have live music. He used to do a bunch of different things. He closed for the month of January. Just some businesses you see thrive, and then there's other businesses that the whole footprint doesn't work.
No.
For certain industries.
Yeah, it's hard.
But I think the Zooms are going to be around. Business Zooms are going to be around, and not for profit. I'm very involved in Rotary, as most people know, and so Rotary International, 200 countries, right? 1.2 million members. Their board will probably never, ever again, well, maybe once a year, meet in person. They're saving so much money on travel.
I know, and that's sad, though.
It's sad.
It is. I think that's the next step from people texting and emailing.
Right.
There was a lack of interpersonal communication. This is just now you're doing the interpersonal communication, but it's over a screen.
2D. Yeah.
The real estate market, commercial real estate. I think in New York City, people are learning to work remotely. So or 2 or 3 days.
There's going to be a lot of
significantly smaller.
We're bowling
lot of empty buildings.
We're bowling out.
A lot of empty buildings in New York City when this is all said and done, and I think that impact is going to be devastating on our state, and we're going to really feel that because that's just that's a business is so much different filling up a space than a family, because you think about all the things that go along with that, and that's going to be really devastating to recover from.
With our business in Norman Staffing, we have learned to become remote, and I was like, when I first bought the business in 2014, I said, some of that stuff was out there, I want to see somebody in person. I want to see them sweat when I interview.
It's the same, like it's,
you know what I mean? I want to get that
and
right.
Now it's like
Now it's on the
Zoom
screen.
meeting
a classic one was one of our staff members interviewed a fella on Zoom, and literally the guy was laying in his bed with like some kind of something on. It was like, and she said,
"True.
Are you in bed?"
Yeah.
And he
said, a lot of people get dressed from here to here and then have sweatpants on underneath.
Saying, okay, you're on a Zoom interview, and you're laying in your bed.
Yeah.
Is that two pillows behind you?
Yeah. Joe, want to get back. We were also talking before you came on the air. Your grandmother. Let's talk a little bit about Flo.
Yes.
The swim across the Hudson.
So, swim across the Hudson.
And how old was she?
She was like
80?
82, 84. It doesn't matter. She was significantly older than me, and Dan Gruner, who also did the swim. She beat both of us. Dan alleges that I used flippers. I don't deny it or saying
it's out there.
It was a safety measure potentially. No, but my grandmother was, she went to the Senior Olympics. I'm pretty sure that she got kicked out because she swept like 2 years in a row.
Yeah, she was done. Competition was nowhere.
Impressive.
Yeah.
And she was feisty, but she was like the most gracious winner. She's like, "Oh my gosh, look, it's another gold medal."
Oh, that's great.
Dominating. So that's where it all comes from.
Right.
And my grandfather was, he did the printing business. He was also a big basketball player.
Right.
What I didn't know is when I was in high school, we had won the state championship in American Legion. So, this was a big deal. We've got Frank Cardinelli and Manfro. These guys are our coaches, and I'm so excited. My grandfather comes down out of the stands. He's got his Legion commander cap on, and he's all fired up. He's like,
vets.
He comes down, he's like, "You know who won the first state championship for Legion?" I said, "Pop, I have no idea." He's like, "Me and my team," and I'm like, "Oh,
here we go."
Bragging rights.
So he was also a feisty guy, but in terms of supportive, he would be the guy yelling from the bleachers.
Yelling at the
yeah.
You missed the call. I'm like, "Pop, please."
Right. My glasses.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah,
now, did your grandfather, is he the one that started Timely Signs? How did that, or was there a previous owner? How did that happen?
So he had B&L printing. And so he did a lot of print stuff. My father was exposed to that industry. And he started with he started engraving for Rondout Savings Bank.
No kidding.
And started engraving the nameplates.
Oh, cool.
This is your grandfather?
This is my father.
Your father.
Started
Okay.
engraving nameplates. So it was like a small, I think it was Specialty Sign Service is what my dad started with his little business card, and he was doing some engraving. Then he started he was working for Potter Brothers and started engraving skis. And then he bought into or partnered with a gentleman by the name of Marvin Goldsmith, who owned Timely Signs.
Okay.
And he was doing trophies and just some random things. There is another Timely Signs in Elmont. That
same company or
same family. So
same family,
Marvin and my father went their separate ways. A fantastic relationship.
Right.
Marvin is still around in Florida, and his son Gene started a business in Elmont, and his son is now involved. So there is another Timely Signs. We're
Interesting.
Kind of different paths and things like that. But we'll get an occasional email or something that says something about Elmont or says this is an order for this, and it's like, no, wrong one. So
your grandfather kind of jumped into the business with your dad?
He helped them out quite a bit. He gave him the hard truth about business. Like, you're going to go and get this loan from this person. And my father was terrified.
Yeah.
And they were like, well, you can engrave all of our name badges for this loan of probably like $20.
Yeah.
It was so my grandfather definitely was a help for my father, but and then I think Potter Brothers kind of exposed him, and he loved working for Dan Potter, working with Dan.
Great
and his
family.
Unbelievable.
Great family.
Legacy family.
So that's how he kind of got into it, and then he evolved from the portable signs and the gorilla.
I mean, I remember
and the clowns
and
raffle tickets. I mean, that was a place to go for raffle tickets, man. It was
Really?
like, oh my God.
Now, so in what year did the two families kind of
split? I would say 1987.
Okay.
88, I think is when my father finally came in, and they had a handshake agreement. They both wrote a piece. It's their story. They both wrote a number on a piece of paper and handed it to each other. It matched. Stars aligned. My father, got the business, and Marvin went off and retired.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and then my father, and I told this story at my father's service. He didn't take a paycheck for 6 months. He left Uso Chemical, didn't take a paycheck for 6 months, which is terrifying if you have 2 kids in Catholic school and you've got a wife and a family to support and a mortgage, and the mortgage rates back at that point were
high,
like, I don't know, 19% or something. So it was a significant decision for him, and my mom was supportive. And I look at my brother sometimes and say, I don't know if I would be able to make that choice.
Gutsy.
It really is.
Yeah.
Well, again, things were a lot simpler back then, and rents were not what rents are, mortgages not what mortgages are. It was all, I tell a story. My first job in 1977 was at St. Luke's Hospital, and my wage was a grand $5 an hour. As a staff, as a junior accountant, coming out of Pace University, and IBM offered me $4.50 an hour. And St. Luke's Hospital offered me $5 an hour.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, our rents, when our first apartment was, I think it was either 178 or 100. It was like $200 a month for an apartment.
Yeah.
Yep. So things were, I hate to say like, oh, gas was this, but gas was freaking cheap. It was like 35 cents a gallon.
Yeah.
You've gotten older when your year is now on the cards. Those ones where it's like, what was going
on in that year?
You'd always make fun of those cards, but now it's like, oh my God, 1977.
That's my year. Yeah. But so, look, what he did was nonetheless amazing, but the whole economic scalability of that world was different too. Teachers were making $6,000 or $7,000 a year.
Yeah.
And so.
But I think it's all relative, right? It's all relative. I always remember hearing stories about my dad when my dad started. My parents were very young when they got married, 16 and 21 years old when they got married. And I remember he bought a trailer. We lived in a trailer park for my first 7 years. And I remember him saying, I don't remember the dollar amount, but I remember him telling me not too long ago that he laid in bed one night because it was like, I don't know, $100 a month to pay for this. And he thought, how am I going to do this? What did I just do? It's crazy to think, nowadays, a 1-bedroom is $1,000,
If not more. It's just, it's crazy.
The world is definitely different these days, but is what it is, and your kids are growing up in this world, and this is what they know.
Yeah.
This is what they know. But I always think it's your obligation. I say that to my 2 that are, 35 and 38 or whatever the heck they are these days. You have an obligation to connect my grandkids to our past, and our traditions, our family, that's the obligation. The economics are the economics. We dealt with it. You all figure it out. There's more zeros attached, but it's the same stuff. It's family first and traditions.
At the end of the day, people, you can put your name on a building, you can do a lot of different things, you can leave money behind. The reality is your true legacy is the family you leave behind, the memories, your friends.
Yeah.
If people talk about you in a great light after you're gone, and if your family continues on and stays relative in the community, I think that's
a big
really
deal.
I think that weighs heavily on your success as a person.
Absolutely. Now that's
Absolutely.
The bottom line is that, and hopefully they'll talk about you when you're still alive too.
Yeah.
In a good way, of course.
In a good way.
That's always the hard part.
That'd be a good thing. Be kind of, that guy's dead.
He was a good guy.
Yeah, right. But Joe, thank you for being on.
Thanks for coming
on. Extending a little bit and coming in there early, and for all you do, and great success with the business going forward.
And keep them in mind if anybody out there is listening and has needs for
signs, apparel, anything. And thank you guys. And when you guys make it big and you guys are on, I want to be a guest.
Yeah, down in
Isn't this big?
Yeah. Absolutely. It's all relative.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all relative. So thank you, folks, for listening to KCR. Thanks to our underwriters for supporting KCR. We've been listening to Joe Bikert for the last. We didn't do what we said we were going to do.
I know. We're supposed to be.
I know, but we'll get it from Timely Signs. Thank you. Valerie, thank you. Have a great weekend.
You
and
too.
Happy Valentine's out there.
Yeah, happy Valentine's Day.
Get your sweetie some ziti.
Or chocolate. Dennis, if you're listening.
All right, Lawrence, thank you. Be well, be safe. America.
Thank you for sharing the morning.